Biden administration on Wednesday imposed its first sanctions over North Korea's weapons programs following a series of North Korean missile launches, including 2 since last week. The sanctions targeted 6 North Koreans, 1 Russian and a Russian firm Washington said were responsible for procuring goods for the programs from Russia and China. The U.S. Treasury said the steps aimed both to prevent the advancement of North Korea's programs and to impede its attempts to proliferate weapons technologies. The administration of U.S. President Joe Biden has sought unsuccessfully to engage Pyongyang in dialogue to persuade it to give up its nuclear bombs and missiles since taking office in January last year. U.S. State Department spokesman Ned Price said Washington remained committed to pursuing diplomacy with North Korea. What we have seen in recent days only underscores our belief that if we are going to make progress, that we will need to engage in that dialogue, he told a regular news briefing. The Treasury Department said the sanctions followed 6 North Korean ballistic missile launches since September, each of which violated UN Security Council resolutions. Under Secretary of the Treasury for Terrorism and Financial Intelligence Brian Nelson said the moves targeted North Korea's continued use of overseas representatives to illegally procure goods for weapons. North Korea's latest launches were further evidence that it continues to advance prohibited programs despite the international community's calls for diplomacy and denuclearization, Nelson said in a statement. It said the State Department had designated Russia-based North Korean Cho Myong-hyun, Russian national Roman Anatolyevich Alar, and the Russian firm Parsec LLC for activities or transactions that have materially contributed to the proliferation of weapons of mass destruction or their means of delivery. It said Cho Myong-hyun, a Vladivostok-based representative of North Korea's Second Academy of Natural Sciences (SANS), had worked to procure telecommunications-related equipment from Russia for China-based North Korean representatives of SNS subordinate organizations Sim Kwang-sok, Kim Song-hun, Kang Kol-hak, and Pyeon Kwang-kol, and 1 other Russia-based North Korean, Oh Young-ho, were also targeted. In a statement, U.S. Secretary of State Anthony Blinken said that between at least 2016 and 2021, Oh Young-ho had worked with Parsec LLC and Alar, the firm's director for development, to procure multiple goods with ballistic missile applications, including Kevlar thread, aramid fiber, aviation oil, ball bearings, and precision milling machines. Blinken said Alar also provided Oh Young-ho with instructions for creating solid rocket fuel mixtures. It also said Oh Young-ho had worked to procure items including aramid fiber, stainless steel tubes, and ball bearings from third countries it did not name. North Korea's UN mission, Russia and China's embassies in Washington, and the Russian firm did not respond to requests for comment. North Korean media said leader Kim Jong-un observed the test of a hypersonic missile on Tuesday, the second in less than a week after he vowed in a New Year speech to bolster the military with cutting-edge technology. Tuesday's test came hours after the U.S. mission to the United Nations, joined by Albania, France, Ireland, Japan, and the United Kingdom, condemned last week's launch and called on UN states to fulfill sanctions obligations. UN resolutions ban North Korean ballistic missile and nuclear tests and impose sanctions. Anthony Ruggiero, a sanctions expert in the former Trump administration, that failed to persuade Kim to roll back his nuclear program despite unprecedented engagement, called the new sanctions a good start. However, he said the Biden administration had allowed a reversal of sanctions pressure and added Biden needs to continue the designations to increase the pressure on the Kim regime. Price did not respond when asked why no Chinese individuals or entities were targeted, or specifically when asked if China and Russia were doing enough to enforce sanctions, but stressed the importance of all UN states doing so, while adding, "Obviously we've not seen all of that. Wednesday's actions freeze any US-related assets of those targeted and prohibit all dealings with them."